Morning. Welcome to everyone watching. I am Jack Parsons from Metro Geek, and we are in our second session of the Small Medium Business Cybersecurity series. This week, we're talking about antivirus software. Isn't antivirus enough? So antivirus is a foundational layer. It's not a silver bullet. It's essential, but antivirus software primarily focuses on detecting and removing known malware. It may not always be able to identify and block entirely new or sophisticated threats. Now, let's see. So let's recap what we talked about last week in Target Identified. Now, in Target Identified, we said we talked about how small businesses can be bigger targets because in most cases they have less protection and don't always implement necessary cybersecurity protection. We talked about the birth of the internet as ARPANET in 1969 and how the world today is more connected than ever, which opens more attack vectors to your business. We covered how cyber liability insurance is great, but it may not cover you if you've not implemented the necessary or required controls. We also discussed the different facets of cybersecurity in the big picture. Now, like I said, this week we're talking about viruses, and this is kind of a breakdown to know your enemy. So virus, that's the one that's most common. And last week we talked about the number of viruses that that happened in the birth of, during the initial startup of the internet, and the monetary cost of the damage and repair. Some of it was in the millions and billions of dollars, and we're talking hundreds of millions and hundreds of billions. But small businesses, they don't get that much, news coverage. But viruses are designed to infiltrate and multiply within the host and within the host files, corrupting the data. And after that, we have worms. Worms exploit network weaknesses to infiltrate systems without permission and delivering a damaging payload. Let's see. We talk about Trojans. Trojans are disguised as genuine software. They look like it's something real that you would use, but it's often to trick you into downloading something where it can make a backdoor for cyber criminals. Ransomware, and you've heard a lot about that on the news probably. It encrypts files on the target system, making them unreachable. And often you have to pay a ransom or for a decryption key to get that back. Spyware, it gathers sensitive data and user activities without your consent, hence the name spyware. Adware shows uninvited and invasive advertisements on infected systems. And a lot of times people's response is, well, I'll just get an ad blocker. Well, the problem with the ad blocker is you're still infected. And that adware might actually be a Trojan or a spyware running in the background. So it's better to clean up the problem than to just ignore it. Botnets, and that is networks of compromised devices which can spread damage. So what happens is, let's say your computer is infected with a type of virus or infection that joins your computer to a botnet. All of those computers work together to continue spreading or attacking other systems. Rootkits can alter the system and it conceals their presence. They're hard to find and remove. Backdoors or remote access Trojans, these offer unauthorized access and control over your systems so that someone can get access to it. And then, of course, you have a dropper. And the dropper is literally something that transports and installs extra software into your computer. You'll download this free program maybe from the internet because it looks really, really cool. And what it actually does in the background is downloads other things that can compromise your system even more so and allow other things to happen. So let's look at, besides viruses though, you can have zero-day attacks, phishing and social engineering. If your computer's not patched properly, insider threats, unencrypted data, your network security is not very strong, or just, believe it or not, a lack of end user training can be a security threat. Cybersecurity is more than just antivirus. It requires a comprehensive cybersecurity strategy, and it's a multi-layered approach combining antivirus with other security measures to help protect your systems. Now, a zero-day attack, these attacks exploit vulnerabilities that are known to antivirus software, or unknown rather, to antivirus software until after they've been discovered and patched. So it's kind of like it runs in the background on a clock. Let's see. Hang on one second. I'm going to check on a different screen I had planned for y'all, but that's okay. Anyway, so the next is phishing and social engineering. Now, phishing, you'll get an email. You've won a gift card from Best Buy. You've won this. Get a free meal. Get free groceries. And what these do is you have to click and you fill out information, or you give more information to the potential bad actor. Social engineering, they'll actually pick up the phone and call you and go, "Hi, this is Microsoft, and we've detected a virus on your computer or your network." And they'll work you over. They'll pretend to be somebody within your company. They'll spoof the caller ID. We've seen literal recordings of professional white hat hackers that will dial into a help desk and get information out of the help desk to break into systems. So social engineering is probably one of the fastest moving attack vectors now. Unpatched vulnerabilities. So Microsoft produces patches and updates for their software. So does Adobe. Any program that you use, they probably do updates after they have found there's a vulnerability or an opening where it could be exploited. Insider threats. Employees with authorized access can pose significant risks. Sometimes an employee leaves on bad terms. Sometimes you have an employee that has the access, but they don't have the education to handle what they're working with. So that can be a threat vector. Unencrypted data. While antivirus can help prevent malware infections, it doesn't directly protect your data from authorized access or theft. Encryption will encrypt your data on your system so that if it ever leaves, it'll be basically not readable by the bad actor. And of course, and while we're talking about, your data, backup. We can't say that enough. And backups are extremely important, including having an off-site backup or at least a backup program. And then when you have backups, have you checked your backups to make sure they're working or make sure they're readable? Network security. So network security, firewalls, intrusion detection, filtering. These are measures that protects everything. And you're going, well, I don't have a network. If you have more than one computer connected to a broadband or internet connection, you have a network. It may be a small network, but a network is still a network. And then finally, lack of end user training. And training employees is one of the best practices because it teaches them to recognize social engineering. It teaches them to recognize phishing. It helps them avoid websites that look legit but might not be. This is essential. And to be honest with you, this is probably the weakest link in most companies is employee training. If they don't know how to recognize it, they'll fall for it, click on it, download it, buy it. And it happens. Believe it or not, it happens with the everyday small business more than it happens to the larger companies. Okay. Now we're going, well, how much should I spend on this? Your IT person that you're working with should be able to customize a security plan for your company with a budget. Now, what a lot of people do is kind of like, for a long time, people wouldn't buy antivirus until after they were infected. Well, that's like closing the barn door after all the animals got out and ran free. So it won't do you really any good. So being proactive, you spend a little bit of money up front each month to put the tools in place that monitor and harden and train. And, because otherwise you're going to be using the big mason jar over there and you're going to spend money to clean up your infection or your breach. You're going to spend money to pay for credit monitoring for your clients. Your cyber liability insurance may not cover you because you didn't have all the controls in place. So ask yourself, how long can your business afford to be closed after a data breach? Do you have the controls in place for your cyber liability insurance to be honored? And do you even know? Some people go, well, I bought cyber liability insurance, I'm covered. Do you? Do you really know that? Have you actually read your policy? So again, it's better to be proactive and spend a little bit each month to know that you're protected. So in this graphic, 43% of cyber attacks are aimed at small businesses. Did you hear that? Let's say it again. 43% of cyber attacks are aimed at small businesses. Over 50% of small to medium businesses do have a cybersecurity plan in place. 82% of chief information officers believe that their software supply chains are vulnerable to attacks. 32% of small to medium businesses say they haven't changed their plan since the pandemic in 2020. Over 75% of cyber attacks begin with an email. Cybercrime is estimated to cost companies worldwide $10.5 trillion by the year 2025. It's believed that cyber criminals can breach 93% of company networks, and $43 billion has been stolen through business email compromise since 2016. It cost $3 trillion in 2015, year-over-year growth rate. The average time to detect and contain a breach is 287 days. Y'all probably heard me talk about that when we've been at Rise and Grind and other things, but a hacker, it's a slow, methodical process. It's not wham, bam, here you go. It's slow and it takes time. A business saves an average of $1.12 million if you can contain your data breach within 200 days or less. Data breaches in the U.S. cost over double the worldwide average. Okay. So now let's look at this. Threat actors and their tactics get more sophisticated every day. They learn something new. They figure out something new. They find a different way to pretend to be friendly so that you're going to let them in. Again, 287 days. That's more than 9 months a hacker can be living inside your system. The FBI calls this dwell time. It's defined as the amount of time between the initial compromise when the hacker first gets in and the final event, such as notification of a breach by the FBI, or you find a ransomware note on your computer. This means that your company has been breached. It carries on business as usual, and they're gathering data from your day-to-day business during this time. The pandemic was a blessing in disguise for threat actors. As businesses worldwide switched overnight to remote and hybrid working models, cybercriminals found themselves with a wealth of new network vulnerabilities to exploit. And unfortunately, years later, many businesses still haven't updated their cybersecurity protocols to reflect these new working models. 32% of SMBs say they haven't changed their cybersecurity plan since the pandemic forced them to pivot to remote and hybrid working environments. And again, as we pointed out, another issue businesses face is cost. Nearly a third of network security professionals say they don't have the budget to effectively defend themselves against attacks. Furthermore, just half of SMBs have a cybersecurity plan in place. So cyber criminals are constantly improving and trying new tactics to gain access to sensitive data for their own personal gain. Unfortunately, they don't care about the devastating effects these attacks can have on businesses and their customers. So I'm hoping these statistics will help you see, yes, it really, really can happen to you. So let's look at this again. Is antivirus software really enough? No, not really. You should have a cybersecurity plan with a disaster recovery plan. Okay. In other words, what can you do to help prevent it? And have you implemented those steps? What do you do when and if it happens? Or, for example, one of the most common scams is the gift card. An employee gets a email from the CEO or somebody high up in the company. They need to go buy some Apple gift cards. They need to go buy some whatever gift cards and send them back the codes so they can buy gifts or something like that. Okay, come on, folks. But we've actually seen several companies where the employee just followed instructions, didn't verify it or check it. And so again, make sure your employees are trained. We recommend having a password and you change it each month. So in other words, if a financial transaction is requested, what's the password? And only the employees that have access to financial transactions know that password. And that way you can verify if it's a legitimate request. Data backups. You should have, like I have a 3-2-1 backup. So I have 3 different backups. One is on the server in our office. And our server actually backs up our cloud server as well. So all that data is backed up there. Then we have a second hard drive because we rotate those hard drives and it's kept in a fireproof vault. And then our third backup is kept off-site. Now we have that in addition to a cloud-to-cloud backup. So basically I've got 4 backups in different places at any moment in time. And yes, we periodically restore a backup to make sure that data is still good. Network security and antivirus. And there's antivirus is not just a cut and dry, oh yeah, I'm going down to Walmart and buy 1995 antivirus. There's different flavors, different strengths, depending on what your needs are. And again, we recommend having someone help you with your IT. Why? Well, because IT people are good at IT, and we're going to talk about that in one of our next presentations coming up, about technicians being created equal. But the thing is, for example, I don't sell insurance. I don't sell houses. I'm not a bookkeeper. I am not a graphic artist. I don't make signs and graphics. I'm an IT guy. That's my job. That's what I do, and I do it well. So I let the people that do the graphic artists do my graphic work. I let the people that sell houses sell me the house and look out for my best interest. So, like I said, we're going to talk about this in another presentation. Make sure that your router is secured. You can go down to Walmart and buy a $59 router, and I promise you, the hacker can tear through that $59 router in 20 to 30 minutes if they're worth their salt. The other thing is you go buy a router, did you change the password? Are you still using the factory password? Have you updated the software in the router? So again, there's more to IT than just slapping some antivirus on your computer. Audits and reviews. When was the last time you had your company reviewed or audited for security, or to see if there are any holes in your network? Have you checked for your data on the dark web? Those are important. And of course, end user training, including security awareness training and essential computer literacy. A lot of times you get an employee in there and you teach them click, click, boom, click, click, boom, click, click, boom. But are we teaching them how to recognize a possible problem? Are we teaching them how to look for something that looks weird or out of the ordinary? So education is one of the key things. And again, employee education is one of the weakest links in any cybersecurity plan. So we're down to the last few minutes of our presentation, and I'm watching the Zoom conference room as well as Facebook, and I've not seen any comments or questions. If you do have questions or comments, we are watching the feed right now, but you can also go to our website, www.metrogeekmsp.com, click on contact, ask a question, and we'll get back with you with an answer. We are doing free cybersecurity assessments through October because it is National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And so you can visit our website at metrogeekmsp.com and click on the cybersecurity under services. Give us a call at toll free 877-967-4335, or you can scan the QR code that's on the screen right now and fill out the form, and we will get with you and schedule an assessment. We'll do an IT checkup as well as help you do your cybersecurity check, your dark web scan, a few other things. So we would really like to see you all take advantage of this free service we're offering. Coming up, we are going to be doing 3 more of these presentations. So next week, would you like fish or spam? And we're talking about the threat vector coming in through email, how bad actors can use email to trick you or invite you into a bad situation. That'll be October 16th, again, 9 a.m. And we are probably going to move the rest of these sessions, the 30-minute sessions, to online only. On October 23rd, all technicians are created equal, sort of. And that's where we're going to talk about the different kinds of technicians: the pizza tech, the trunk slammer, the knuckle dragger, the script reader, the mouth breather, as well as legitimate level 1, level 2 technicians. So please watch for those announcements on our Facebook page and Chamber of Commerce emails. And we encourage you, because again, This is just some quick guides to help you. And if you register using our link, we will gladly email you some of these resources to help you start preparing your own small business cybersecurity workbook. Now, our last presentation, whoops, kind of hit the wrong button there. Our last presentation is going to be October 30th at 9 a.m. We will not be streaming this event. This is a live in-person event, and you will contact the Granbury Chamber of Commerce if you would like to attend. And we need to know how many of you are coming so we can make sure there's snacks there for you and coffee. We're having some door prizes and other things, but we're going to touch a little bit deeper on some of these topics. And again, we'll be preparing resource flash drives with a variety of documentation and helpful information, again, to try to help you get prepared to protect your business against the threat landscape here on the internet and our connected world. And again, this is going to be in person only at Aviva in Granbury. It is Wednesday, October 30th at 9 a.m. It is part of the Granbury Chamber of Commerce Business Development. This will be a 90-minute session, not 30 minutes. And again, it's in person. So as soon as the Chamber of Commerce announces that, please get signed up and reserve your seat. So again, we don't have any questions or anything popping up in any of the chat groups. So again, my name is Jack Parsons. I am with Metro Geek. We are based in Granbury, but we are members of the Flower Mound Chamber, Granbury Chamber, Denton Chamber, Glen Rose Chamber, the Tarrant County or Fort Worth Chamber of Commerce, and the Weatherford Chamber. And we will be celebrating 25 years in business next year, and very excited about that. We hope that we provided you with some solid information. Please feel free to visit us at metrogeekmsp.com, or you can follow us on social media at metrogeekmsp. Anyway, a big thanks to the Granbury Chamber of Commerce for giving us this opportunity to present. Again, next week's presentation will be online only, as well as the week after. And then we will be doing the final presentation in person. You got to register to come. So we know how much snacks to bring. Plus, we've got door prizes and other things, including the potential to win your business a Metro Geek service agreement for 12 months. Folks, I've really enjoyed it today. Thank you very much. And y'all have a great, great Wednesday.